True.
Well, let's talk about the change. What's happening? Speaking of censorship, we got this story from Timcast. Elon Musk is still committed to Twitter purchase after announcing deal was on hold. Musk said he would defeat the spam bots or die trying, a cause for due diligence to discover the true daily active user numbers in the deal. I'm going to give you the quick version. I think Elon Musk knew there was fraud. I believe Twitter, it's possible, has defrauded its shareholders. We know that they've lied. I'm sorry. We know they've published false user numbers on more than one occasion. They've apologized for it. Let me show you something interesting. If we go to Social Blade and look at little old me, we can see that on April 26th, I gained just about 20,000 followers. The next day, about 40,000. The next day, about 47,000. Gaining all of these followers, strange, right? At the same time, Barack Obama loses 300,000. At the same time, Katy Perry loses 200,000.
Weird.
Why are celebrities and left and progressives losing followers, but people on the libertarian, freedom, whatever, right side are gaining followers? I'll tell you what I think. Here's the dates. The 26th, 27th, 28th. The 29th was a Friday. Monday was the 2nd. And what news broke on the 2nd? Twitter estimates fake accounts comprise less than 5% of users filing. On May 2nd, okay, here's what they say. In a filing on Monday, May 2nd, they say it was 5%. Here's my opinion after looking at all of this information. The week prior, they reinstated as many right-wing accounts as possible to create human users and banned as many bots as possible to reduce the number of bots so they could bring the number of bots per user way, way down. I think Elon Musk knew they were doing that. I think he's forcing them to give him the data now that he's locked in this deal or lose $1 billion. And if they give him the information on all these users, he can come out and be like, they defrauded me. They defrauded you and they defrauded all the shareholders. I think Twitter believes in a healthy conversation and they're trying to socially engineer this country and people who use Twitter around the world by making it seem like pro-America and libertarian values are not prominent and woke leftist ideas are. So they create fake accounts or someone does and they ban accounts that are pro-America. Then the flip happens. We watched it happen. Then they release their report on their bots. Elon's going to get that data because they have to reveal it to him, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm curious what his next step would be after that. Is this just something that he does to expose them, or does he try to come in and alter the price?
Maybe Twitter blows up. Maybe it's gone. I mean, I don't know that this is true, right? What I'm saying is, if you look at the fact that leftists lost followers, libertarian, right, MAGA, whatever you want to call it, gained followers, that's algorithmic. People have tried claiming the left is leaving and the right's joining. No, that's ridiculous. Because if you look at the data, as I pointed out the last time we talked about it, on Monday, the day they announced the deal was happening, no one joined Twitter. They're lying. That's not true. The data does not suggest that. The data suggests Twitter made weird algorithmic changes. And then the next week, Monday, they issued their filing on bot accounts. Clearly, they were manipulating the numbers.
It's scandal. It's a scandal.
Elon got him.
I agree with you. Actually, I think what you said is mostly true, I would say, if I was NewsGuard. I don't know that he knew there were bots. PolitiFact, thank you. I don't know that he knew that there were bots. I think he highly he thought that there were. He had a good feeling, a hunch.
I'll tell you my greater theory. One day, Elon Musk is on Twitter. And he's like, I really like this Babylon Bee. I'm going to tweet that to them. And then he does. And then all of a sudden, it goes, boop, new notification. And he looks, and it's himself trying to convince himself to engage in a crypto scam. Because you ever see those?
First thing he thought of was time travel, and he's like, it hasn't been invented yet.
He's like, could I have come back from the future to sell Bitcoin to myself?
Yes, but unlikely.
Let me check. And then he does some math, and he's like, this is a bot. And then he probably complained, and they did nothing. So there's a really famous botting scam where Elon Musk bots will tweet at people to get them to give crypto and scam them.
I've seen that.
Elon probably was like, this is me. Stop. And he says, okay, I'm going to get rid of this stuff. So I think he knows something was going on. I also think Elon probably saw the manipulation with sock puppet accounts. A sock puppet account is when one person runs multiple accounts. I'm willing to bet the left runs tons of sock puppet accounts where one activist will have 20 accounts and they'll spam you to make it seem like everyone is dogpiling you and hates you. You'll say something and then you'll get 50 responses where they're like, you're ugly, you're gross, you're stupid, you're lame, to try and trick you and force you to changing your opinion. Then Twitter bans people on the right so no one can come to your aid. I think that's what's happening. That's my opinion on what's happening.
So you're saying that I'm not ugly, stupid, and lame? Like,
right.
is a joke?
I know.
Turns
That's
out
what it
no.
says, but no, you're not.
I'm the exception.
Yeah.
It's a form of grooming. What they do is when 30 people tell you, hey man, concern trolling. Like, I'm a big fan, but I think you're not right on this one. You should change your opinion. And then the only thing you see is people saying you're wrong about it. Weaker-minded people might be like, okay, I better change my position on this.
They call it algorithmic.
Ah.
I don't know if I said that right. I tried.
Yeah,
I got to write it down first.
I noticed something when I was in college, which is that when I got people who were really outwardly left-leaning alone and had conversations with them where we weren't with other students, they would generally say things that you would not expect a left-winger to say. So maybe I'd, run into them somewhere outside of school, or we would just be chatting outside of class. And whenever current events came up, they would almost inevitably say something about any given issue that would basically get someone screamed at by any other left-winger for not being left-wing enough. And they'd even say things like, yeah, no, I'm going to be honest. Like, I do think the left has kind of gone off the deep end in certain ways. And part of me wondered if that was because they were being insincere about their values because they were surrounded by other left-wing people. Part of me also wondered if that was because they understood or got the vibe that they were talking to a more conservative person and they're just social chameleons who need to fit in with whoever they're having a conversation with. I don't know. But in my experience, it's funny. Like, in my experience, people even left-wing people are not as far to the left when they're not in a group. It's like as soon as they get around other people, they're Mao. But when they're by themselves, they're like, they turn into Dave Rubin.
I think they're scared.
The left is not
they're
liberal
like,
anymore.
they're being groomed with like the language and everything that you see, like the media. So they're scared of like not going all the way, because if not, then what will they side with? They will side with the MAGA king, the ultra MAGA, the fascists, the KKK.
MAGA.
So it's like they feel like they have to constantly move farther to the left to be able to match that, even though it may not match it what they think, but it's like for the bigger cause. Because if they don't do it, if they don't stay together, if they don't stay united, then big bad orange guy is going to be back in the White House, and then everybody is going to be put in camps or something. So they have to stick together. And to me, that's it's like
Zombies.
Yep.
And it is a fallacy to think that in order to not be part of Group A, you have to join another group. You don't have to join a group.
Absolutely.
The funniest thing I love a lot is when these lefties will post on Twitter. They'll be like, I'm not in a brainwashed cult like you are. And it's like they're the group that voted in lockstep to fund the war in Ukraine. And then the other side of this is former liberals, traditional liberals, conservatives. You've got the far right, laissez-faire capitalist types. You've got libertarian centrists. Like, there's this big eclectic group of people who all disagree with each other, who are sitting in rooms and having conversations. You're all in the room, all patting each other on the back, saying they're the cult.
Yeah.
I went on Facebook a couple nights ago. I've got a very interesting social media array because most of my Facebook friends from 2007, 8, 9, when I was in LA as an actor, very liberal. Now most of my Twitter followers are people that watch this show, so it's more or less conservative. I don't want to put you in a box, guys. You're whatever you want to be. But when I go on Twitter or on Facebook, they're like, pro-choice when it comes to the abortion thing. And they're like, they think, that's just what they think. And it's the same kind of crap when we're on the show and we're talking about them. Whenever it comes up about they, it's the same terminology and the same weird that the people don't even know who they are. They're just using this term.
Except we're right.
Of course. We always think we are, don't we?
No, but we are.
Well, everyone thinks they're the good guy, man. You gotta be careful about categorizing other people.
The data has repeatedly shown that moderates and conservatives consume media from the left and know the left-wing argument, but the left doesn't do the other.
I think there are instances
That's
in
a fact.
history where like the Nazis were a radical leftist organization, I've heard, and they were indoctrinating kids. And the people that stood against that turned out to be on the right side of history. It is possible that, and I think a lot of, when it comes to objective morality, a lot of what we're talking about is real. Like it's important to protect the children.
Let me clarify this point as to why we're right and they're not. You have, as I mentioned, traditional liberals, people like, me. I voted for Obama in 2008 and I was from the city. And now I'm like, hey, man, I don't like this woke stuff. I want free speech. You have devout Catholics like Seamus, very pro-life, conservative. And we disagree on a lot of those elements, but we agree on so much more when it comes to what's reality, what's true. Mm-hmm. You have journalists like Matt Taibbi, a liberal outright who's like, yeah, this Ukraine stuff with Joe Biden is messed up. You have Glenn Greenwald, a progressive. You have Jimmy Dore. How is it that all of these people from actual economic far left to laissez-faire capitalist anarchists or people like Luke Rudkowski all can come together and agree and point at the left and say they're wrong? As I mentioned, when you look at that voting block for Ukraine war funding, and every single Democrat is voting yes on one of the largest war packages ever, and the Republicans are all in disagreement, I'm like, something is wrong when the anti-war progressive leftists like AOC and the Squad are voting in lockstep for war. They are a cult.
Yeah, it's the liberal economic order.
And let me tell you, Ian, you say they say the same thing about us. I completely agree with
similar
that.
terminology. Yeah,
it's identical.
Pretty much. It's hard to tell who. I thought they were talking about they, like what we were last night. I'm like, oh my god, this.
Except we were right. You know why? Covington, Jussie Smollett, Russiagate, Ukrainegate, Ghost of Kiev, Trayvon Martin, George Floyd. The list goes on.
Military-industrial complex has controlled the media, and if you don't know that, then you're getting sucked up into it.
I don't even know if it's that. I don't know what's going on. I think Twitter was playing weird manipulation engineering games. The fact is, I remember I had this moment in 2018, and I'm thinking, I watch these left-wing presenters, and they're saying the exact same thing. And then I'm like, but that's weird. They're wrong about the Covington kids. Well, that's weird. Bill Maher, a week after the story was debunked, comes out and still maintains the lie. Well, that's weird. Russiagate was debunked, and they're still saying it was true. They called Rand Paul a Russian agent again. It's just the lies, the misinformation, the manipulation. They set up a disinformation czar, this woman who's published repeated false information, and she wants the right to control the flow of information. So I'm sorry. If you've got an eclectic bunch of people with all differing worldviews and differing political opinions, but we can see what's true and what's not, you have another side that believes every single lie every time.
I guess why I brought it up, and I didn't know this when I did, is because of what you're saying, Seamus. People, when they're in that group, they do become radicalized. But when they're alone and you communicate with them, people aren't so crazy. Like, people kind of get together and can understand. So, like, that's why I'm reticent to say they, because when that person is over here, they're we. And it's, they get it. It's
the funniest thing is, man, when I was arguing on Facebook with some people, and I said, it's the weirdest thing. Michael Malice points this out a lot. If you disagree with anything that is part of their tribe, they immediately assume you're a Trump supporting far right MAGA cult or whatever. And it's like, I've actually commented on people's posts agreeing with them, and they'll immediately say, it's the joke. Someone's like, I like pancakes. And I'll be like, the interesting thing about pancakes is they have a lot of carbs. And so you're a waffle person? Waffles are about, and I never said I liked waffles, dude. So when I comment on someone's post about pro-life, they'll make a point about conservatives, and I'll say, I don't think that's the actual conservative argument. The response I get is, you want to control women's bodies and put them in chains. And I'm like, I don't want to do any of that. I don't understand. It's a cult, bro. Are there ultra MAGA Trump cultists? Of course. Mm-hmm. Do they have any institutional power? No. Are they relatively large in number? Not really.
Yeah. So what we'll see with the left is they'll take very basic concepts, which legitimately are binary, such as sex, and they'll try to break it up into a million different gradients and say it exists on a spectrum when it doesn't. Then when it comes to politics, they'll basically say it's binary. Either you're with us or you're some far-right Trump supporter. You're also a Nazi. There's no room for any kind of gradient there. On their own side, they sort of try to get into like some nuance, because they'll claim that, someone like Bernie Sanders is really a moderate. And so we have this very vast spectrum on our own side of the aisle, even though they're really only catering to like 10% of the population in totality when you're looking at progressives.
They were manufacturing public support.
I think that it's sort of like something that there's a third component to this, which is you have the right and you have the left, but you also have the globalists, which they owe alliance to neither the left nor the right. So they sort of like co-opted the liberal and the progressive movement, and everything that they do is according to the globalist agenda. Like they want, no borders, they want no this, no that. They want to sort of like, everything, the global supply chain, whatever it is, more trade with China, whatever. And a lot of these things that they have been pushing is not something that the left would have wanted even 5 to 3 years ago or even 2 months ago. But they feel that they have to keep pushing it because they have to meet the globalist sort of like end goal, and hopefully leftists and liberals and classic liberals, they're going to start realizing that like, stop it, they're using you, stop it.
I think
Classic
they will.
liberals
As
already
the economy is going to force people to evolve.
Classic liberals are already out, because classic liberal is a right-wing position. Traditional liberals were social liberals, so they were like center left, and there's like a little bit of a difference, but it's like, they're both centrist. I think these people on the left aren't feeling like they have to walk in lockstep with like the Davos group or anything. It's zombies. Like we were mentioning the Young Turks. They just make stuff up and they lie all the time. Maybe it's ineptitude. Maybe they're just like, this will get clicks. I mean, if you look at their videos, the thumbs down are crazy, like 50, 60%. I'm like,
how do you view those still? Because I don't have access.
Plug in.
Oh, cool.
I can't
use
rationalize
API
it. Like, I can't understand. To me, I'm thinking they're being brainwashed. The globalists at the top are like pushing propaganda in media and brainwashing these people, because I can't rationalize how you would, like these things for kids, how you would, come after kids like that. Like, to me, if you were to put me in a time machine like 10 years ago and you show me that, I'll be ready to, start a revolution. And I'm not even, so to me, it's like, go ahead.
No. Continue. I'm sorry. I just wanted to.
It's sort of like how quickly the needle is moving, and it's just out of control. So I have to find like a way to rationalize this behavior, like why they're doing this, and I don't know. I don't have that answer yet.
I think you're onto it, though. I think it's a global agenda. I mean, you look at how much stuff Vanguard owns and the
Like
Bank of
they're
International
being-
Settlements, Klaus Schwab.
Like they're being brainwashed.
Yeah, they're
by
inserting
the media,
definitely by the liberal media. I don't like using that word liberal. I don't want to give that power to that word because it is postmodernist. I'm trying to understand. I'm not an expert at postmodernism, but it's the idea that you'd say I'm a human. I'd be like, no, I'm actually a embodiment of cells. And they're like, no,
Bro.
I'm actually an energy field.
Bro, you're describing
I'm none
yourself.
of them. Yeah, that I went through that. I'm like out of the cult now. I was in LA as the actor getting ready to be the next big thing. It was disgusting. And then they were all over me sexually. It was so gross. And Jordan Peterson has talked a lot about postmodernism. He points the finger at it. It's a confusing idea, which is why it hasn't caught as much hot traction as it needs to. And it's a social movement that started in the mid-20th century, basically.
Yeah, I just wanted to issue a small correction to myself earlier. I described them as 10% of the population. According to Pew Research, they're 6%. But even that figure isn't perfect because as I'm looking at how they define it, when they talk about the progressive left, they say 88% of people on the progressive left say that greater social acceptance of people who are transgender is a good thing for the U.S. I mean, for only 88% of them to be saying that, when the type of progressive leftist we're talking about would say
88.
that... Yeah. 88% of people who would fall into this progressive left category, which they say makes up 6% of the public.
12% TERFs.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm saying. So this progressive left group, this is a very small group of people because of that 6% of the public, only 88% of them, this group defined as progressive left, say that more transgender acceptance is good for society. Whereas my understanding is the progressive leftists we're talking about would say anyone who answered that question as anything other than yes is not a progressive. In fact, they're far right.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. But if you want to check out the full show live, tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And if you want more special access content, head over to timcast.com and become a member. Your membership helps sustain this company, keep our journalists employed, makes this show happen, and you will get access to exclusive members-only segments of the Timcast IRL podcast, and there's a massive library to check out. So again, go to timcast.com or tune in Monday through Friday at 8 p.m., and we'll see you all there.